Abdul Malik ibn Marwan dispatched Hajjaj to Makkah. He laid siege to the city, and subhanAllah, this siege lasted about 6.5 months. 6.5 months. Hajj was in between. Also, there were some of the months of the Ashhurul Hurum. Looking here, ya Mashayikh. Leave the names there. Jahid, looking here. There was the months of the Ashhurul Hurum where you're not allowed to fight. And so they didn't fight during that time. So the siege lasted 6.5 months. Food was cut off from Makkah al-Mukarramah. There was great starvation. Abdullah ibn Zubair had to slaughter his own horse, to get food, etc. It was such a severe siege on Makkah that even Abdullah ibn Zubair's 2 sons left him. They left him and they went to Hajjaj. Because Hajjaj offered, whoever leaves, I will give them aman. I will not interfere with them, will not harm them. They are free. If you leave soon, you leave now, you can go free. Nobody's going to harm you. And so many deserted Abdullah ibn Zubair. 6.5 months, extremely tough situation. Food is scarce. Catapults were placed outside the city and the army proceeded to pound the city. Abdullah ibn Umar and others successfully interceded with Hajjaj for a cessation during the Hajj. Stop the fighting during the Hajj, and so he agreed to that. But it resumed after the Hajj and after the pilgrims had left. By now many more deserted Abdullah ibn Zubair, taking the offer of clemency from Hajjaj, and they surrendered. This included the sons of Ibn Zubair, Hamza and Khabib or Khubayb. Ibn Zubair sought advice from his mother. I mean, this is very, very famous. He went to his mother Asma, the daughter of Abu Bakr, the sister of Aisha. Remember, our mother Aisha, she is called Abdullah. Yes or no? The mother of Abdullah. Based upon which Abdullah? This Abdullah ibn Zubair here that we're talking about. This is her nephew. This is her sister's son. So she was given a kunya because of her sister's son. She had no children. Are you with us? So this Abdullah, he goes to his mother Asma, who was old at that time. But in her biography, although she was old, she still had, her sight and all her teeth, everything. And they would say, we looked after Allah when we were young, so Allah looks after us when we are old. He sought her advice. Should I not surrender? Everybody's left me. I got a few left here. We will all be slaughtered. There's very few of us. What should I do? So she told him, it's either that you are seeking the dunya all of this time, and then you're a wretched one, and you are wretched for taking the lives of the others. Or you are upon haqq, and if you are upon haqq, then there's no loss in anyone's life. Are you with us? So he says, Wallahi, I never sought the dunya and I never did this, and I only did it for the sake of Allah and standing up for justice, etc., etc. And his mother in Makkah with him there. And then so she gave him du'as and she told him to be firm. And then he says, I'm afraid that, they would, if they kill me, they will skin my body and they will hang me up. So she said, the animal which is slaughtered doesn't feel anything when it is skinned. So don't bother about that. Are you with us? An animal when it's slaughtered doesn't feel any pain when it's skinned. So whatever they do after that doesn't really matter. Look at her personality. She's the one who, when the Prophet ﷺ went on the hijrah, she put the stones in the bag there, and so her grandfather felt it. Oh no, her grandfather left us, mashallah, a lot of gold. She's the one who, she opened the door and Abu Jahl slapped her across the face. Where's Muhammad and your father? Are you with us? Same Asma, married to Az-Zubair. Then she hugged her son, and she felt his armor. So she asked him, what is that? And so he said, it's my armor. She said, somebody who is seeking martyrdom does not wear this. And so he removed that armor, and then he went out. The fighting intensified in Jumad al-Akhir, 73 AH. At the age of 72, Abdullah ibn Zubair, he was martyred in Makkah al-Mukarramah. Hajjaj then had his body hung up in public. Asma, his mother, is there in Makkah al-Mukarramah. And Hajjaj, his attitude and his behavior towards Asma was not good. Even though Abdul Malik ibn Marwan told him, you are going there, do not interfere with Asma. I mean, she's a senior for everyone. Don't interfere with her. So he summoned her, he wanted to talk to her, etc. This Hajjaj. And so eventually when they met, he says to her that, Abdul Malik told me that, I should be good to you, etc., etc. This is what your son did and this is what he deserved. And, went on with whatever he had to say. Then she says that the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he mentioned that there will be two in my ummah. One of them will be a great spiller of blood, and the other a liar. We saw the liar, and that was Musaylima, the liar, the kadhab. And the other one, the one who spills blood, I don't think it's anyone except you. She said this to his face. All right. And so they had this altercation, and then that ended off there. Afterwards, Abdullah ibn Umar, Muhammad ibn al-Hanafiyyah, and others who had not taken sides previously, they now pledged allegiance to Abdul Malik ibn Marwan. Abdullah ibn al-Zubair, Muhammad ibn al-Hanafiyyah, they stayed away from all of this. They didn't pledge to Abdullah ibn al-Zubair, but now there's no other contender on the scene. They all pledged to Abdul Malik ibn Marwan as the Caliph of the Muslims. Allahu Musta'an.